Hey, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Meat and Potatoes podcast. I'm your host, Devin,
And I'm Keifer.
and welcome to the show. Before we start our first episode, though, I would like to just give a quick shout out to, well, not really a shout out per se, but more of my condolences for the Boseman family. As many of you know, what was it, last night that we lost him?
It was last night they pronounced it.
We lost Chadwick Boseman. As most of you probably know, he was the actor who played Black Panther in the Marvel MCU. And he was a great actor, great guy from what I've heard and from what I've seen from his personal life. And he died of cancer at 43, and it was a tragic loss, really.
I think nothing makes me more sad to know than someone who has such a caliber at being such a great actor. Because, it wasn't just Black Panther that I also enjoyed him from. It was that cop movie that came out, I think, about a year ago. That was a really good movie that he played in.
What movie is that?
For the life... I don't want to say Bridges. Or actually, I do. I think it was called 21 Bridges. Because it was... The main plot was there's these crooks... But it's been a dirty job by these cops this whole time, and they're like, hey, if we want these guys, trapped and to not get away with these cop killings, then we gotta, bring all the bridges up so they don't have a way out other than having to swim out of the island.
That actually sounds really good.
It was really... it was great. And then they just you know what? It's been over a year. If you haven't seen the movie, then spoilers. Tough. But yeah, they just totally switch it around where they're just all like, actually, the bad guys weren't just the cops, it was the higher-ups in the cops. So, the bosses were in charge of the whole drug deal and everything.
You know what, that kind of reminds me of something that I kind of want to just bring up before we really get into everything. Have you've heard about the protests going on in Chicago, right?
Honestly, I hear there's a protest basically up there every single day, so it's kind of hard to keep track of what protests are going on and what aren't going on.
Well, the Chicago ones are very interesting because the Chicago mayor's been kind of getting fire on all sides, kind of justly. I don't want to really go into her, but so much right now. But it kind of just reminded me of the plot of that movie because during the protests, when they got really bad, they actually started raising the bridges that lead to an island part of Chicago.
That's right.
To try to contain the protests to downtown, and yeah, that was crazy that they got that bad where they felt like they had to contain it to basically a certain part of the city.
They made it to a nice part of Chicago, too. There's videos of them crashing into these really nice jewelry stores and just raiding the places. They got pretty far in there.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're getting pretty far everywhere. They're starting to seep out into the suburban areas. The mayor of Chicago, she apparently now has armed security. She actually has a police force guarding her block of her neighborhood, saying that she has a right to defend herself and protect herself. Yeah, this is the same woman who's very anti-Second Amendment at that. So she's allowed to protect herself, but everybody else...
Have you just noticed something in the beginning when all these riots take place? I know you've seen this. You've totally seen this. And when all these riots take place, they're all just like, hey... we just gotta let them do their thing, man. They're just people. They're doing their rights. The rights to to do the thing. Hey, shout out to my man Joe. But as soon as they're just all like, yeah, no, actually, you're part of the problem too. So we're gonna be paying a trip to your house. They just go, nope. I want cops. I want guards. I want the National Guard. Okay, it's about time we put you guys to rest.
I just find it funny and just ironic, too, that they're saying people who are always complaining about their rights being infringed on in protesting when actually it's not their right to riot. That actually infringes on other people's rights. But then they will constantly bitch and moan about, people wanting to express their Second Amendment rights. It just seems very hypocritical, don't you think?
Yeah, hypocritical is the way to put it.
Yeah. Did you also notice that apparently when the Kenosha riot started, there was no riots in Portland? Like, for the first time in almost 90 days, there were no riots in Portland.
Really?
Yeah. I was watching the Timcast podcast. For those of you who don't know, it's Tim Pool. He was a former... he was one of the founding members of Vice, and he worked for Fusion. He worked for ABC. He's been on the ground reporting. Now he just does commentary on YouTube on stuff going on in the news. And I suggest you go subscribe to any of his 3 channels that he does. I think Timcast, Tim Pool, and Timcast IRL. He also has his own news channel, too, where he actually has people he hires to go on the ground and do reporting, like non-biased, non-partisan partisan reporting. And he's really cool. Like, I love watching him. Some people say he's the slowest red pill ever because he is more middle left in his viewpoints of the world, but like he's slowly over time, and I've been watching him for years. You've kind of seen him slowly move more and more to the right, or at least towards like the Donald Trump train. Like, he was one of those people who would be like, I don't really like Donald Trump, but he's not as bad as everybody says he is. And then to literally his podcast last night, I am voting for Donald Trump. We need Donald Trump. It's crazy. Like, that's why people call him the slowest red pill of all time.
It's actually funny you say that. So I've got one of my coworkers. He's not only the only black guy in the warehouse, he's the only black guy in the entire place. But then again, it's a very small family-owned business, so there's not too many of us there. But, as time went on, he's a Democrat, and I've never held that against him or anything like that. But as time was beginning to go on, and we just start to see where, the election is taking place, he told me, hey, I'm voting for Donald Trump. And I was pretty taken back by that, and I was like, well, hold on there, buddy. Are you voting for him because you like him more than the other guy? Like, you're upset at your own party because, like, really? This is what you got to offer? This is how you're going to get rid of Orange Man? Then I might as well just keep Orange Man in. It's like, is it more so that? And he was like, yeah, not, if he sees it more as the side of the lesser of two evils, and after what he's seen with who their party's has brought up, he's like, nah, our side is very, very evil right now. He's definitely, I don't know if he'll ever be a Republican or have more right-wing views, but in this instance, he's like, nah, we'll stick with Trump. I don't want to make this country even worse by putting in an old man with borderline dementia.
You see, the thing is, too, I don't really care whether or not someone is a Republican or a Democrat. Mm-hmm. I more care about, like, what are your individual beliefs. Like, I could see myself voting for a Democrat if it was the right Democrat. Like, for instance, had the nomination for a Democratic candidate been Tulsi Gabbard or Andrew Yang, I mean, I'm not 100% on the board with UBI, but I kind of see his points. Like, I could see myself voting for at least one of them because, for one thing, too, they don't want to alienate their party. They actually want to reach across the aisle and understand that America in general isn't just my side. And I know the people on like the left, the far, far left, will argue that Donald Trump is the same way, but for the right, but I don't think I see it too as an extreme degree. He more goes against the extremists of the left more than anything else.
The beliefs that will basically harm America and the American way. I mean, you're looking at a guy who, all the riots are taking place in more blue parts of the states. They're taking place in states that are governed by blue, and they are taking place in cities that are being mayored by blue. And even with all that going down, you still got a guy who is saying, all right, look, we've got X amount of 100 National Guards ready to be deployed and sent to your way so that we can stop these riots in their tracks and keep the American citizens safe. That doesn't sound like a guy who's just only to my party, my party, my party.
You see, that's also something I always find super funny. Like, if you go on Twitter and you see anything about Donald Trump, they always try to refer to him as like some kind of fascist guy. That's not what a fascist does. A fascist would like go in and just take everything over. And then I also see they complain about him being a fascist, but then he does very unfascist things, like trying, especially like with coronavirus. Mm-hmm. Like, he
Oh God.
He could have easily been like, people cannot go do your businesses. You can't do this, that, this, that, this, that. No, he just put in guidelines and regulations. Like, okay, maybe like I am going to encourage businesses to say that people can't come in with a mask. I'm going to give. I'm going to help try to push through the relief funds for people who you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
But like, how can he's not a fascist? Like, I see more fascist activity from like the left, especially like that mayor in L.A. Did you hear about that?
The one that wanted to just basically completely defund the police, or what else did he do?
Okay. So get this. He was mad about people having private gatherings in their homes.
Oh, I know where this is going.
He apparently there was some famous TikToker who was like having a house party or something, and he shut down this guy's water and utilities because he ignored no gatherings, and that is very fascistical, if that's a word. I don't know if that's the word for it, but like
sounds like a flavor I'd get in a popsicle. And let me tell you, it's a nasty flavor.
Oh God, I can't imagine. It's like black licorice and like
Candy.
wasabi. But no, like apparently he's threatening to do it to other people too. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, how can you call Donald Trump a fascist when people like this exist in these blue states or blue cities?
It made me sick, really, hearing about that. And I was just all like, really? That is literally the borderline definition of fascism. Just doing stuff like that.
Yeah. The only time he has sent out the feds is if, like, federal agents has been when federal buildings were attacked first. So it's not like he's going around, like, targeting just random protesters. He's actually targeting people who causes violence, who have, violated the right of assembly and protest, who have violated, because it doesn't mean you get to protest any way you want. There actually is, the way I explained on Twitter to someone not too long ago, basically protesting is protected the right to protest is protected so long as it doesn't interfere with anybody else's rights. Like right to life, right to property, right to blah, blah, blah. So basically, when you're doing violent riots, you're violating, people's rights to property. So there you go. You're violating someone else's right, which basically annuls your right to protest. And I don't get why people don't get that. All I hear is me, but they have insurance. I come from a family of insurance agents. 4 generations of insurance agents.
4.
I can tell you, my mom used to tell me all the time, insurance is one of the most corrupt and broken things you'll ever see. It's because they are going to try any way to keep their money. And a lot of times they will find any type of little loopholes so they don't have to pay out your business, so they can make money. Just like any company out there, their goal is to make money.
Mm. Well, another thing that I was just going to bring out is just how annoying is it that there are actually people that are like sticking up with what the mayor is doing just because they're just saying, oh, well, he's basically putting an end to that way. They make sure that everyone is following the guidelines. I was like, okay, we're going to create a guide. We're going to do this. We're going to shut off someone's power. We're going to take away their water, their utilities, and just so that way no one gets hurt or killed by a disease, which, by the way, you have like a, 99.98% chance of coming back from just fine.
That's the survival rate right now. Yes. Okay. Apparently, like I also see this number of like 180,000 people dead in the U.S.
Oh boy.
Like,
you have to talk about this, otherwise I will lose my mind.
Well, see, I don't even know what to say about it because
it's not true.
How many people like? From what I've heard, too, is basically they count a lot of those deaths as, they just happen to have COVID, but they also died of something else. Now, you could make the argument, because we still don't know everything about the virus. You could make the argument that Corona, accelerated the death from those other types of complications. You could make that argument.
I can believe in that. I truly can. Here's the thing, though. Okay. my mind slips, and unfortunately, I will forget names, but I do remember situations where this was a lady who was on the podium with Trump talking about how we are taking every death and we are liberally labeling it. You know, if someone tested positive for COVID and they died, even if their death was in the form of something else, then we are going to label it under COVID. She said that. Maybe, you know, paraphrasing here, but she did say that. I'll give you guys a little bit of an example. My family is friends with a doctor who treated someone for a trauma experience. You know, car crash. So comes in, you know, he gets tested for whatever reason, maybe just because he was there, or maybe it was the hospital's policy at that point, but he gets tested for COVID. So, and he comes back positive. So, along with his trauma, he has to now live under them for about 2 weeks with the whole self-quarantine and everything like that, and then he's good to go. But, you know, he's alive, the guy is good, but our family friend doctor is saying had he died, he would have been put under a COVID death, even though the original reasoning behind it would have been a trauma situation.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh no. No, those memes that are coming out and about where it's just like, you know, man dies of shark. Another or no, let me rephrase that. Shark attack happens in Florida. Another man gone because of COVID. Like they're not joking when they say that. Someone could die from any other particular situation, but if they got tested positive with COVID, they will put them under a COVID death. And that is how these numbers have just skyrocketed. Someone did the research and found out, wait a second, this is back when the numbers were, I think, like 60,000, I think, and they found out that these were just so liberally out of place that they were like, oh, hold on, when we look at these, only 30,000 have died. Now, again, you know, 30,000 people dying from something that is unknown is sad, absolutely. But, you know, 30,000 isn't nearly as bad as what everything else in the world takes away from you within the first half a year.
I think it was Steven Crowder who said it, because he did a Change My Mind, I think, twice about this.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember what he cited as the source, but apparently there's like rumor that the numbers are inflated almost as high as up to 25%. That is just scary, man.
That's a quarter, man.
Yeah, that's a whole quarter. Like, that's what, like, I guess it's like 25, so probably like what, 40,000?
If we're looking at a total of 180,000, then yeah,
that's. But
it's scary. It's absolutely it's horrifying, and everything else that's just gone into play with it. It's I don't know. I hate COVID more than anything, just because of, like, you know, this might sound childish, but I can't have as much fun anymore. I really can't. And there's no way I'm alone in this, where, you know, I'm going to the grocery store and all of a sudden I forgot my mask. I have to drive back home. Thank God I don't live far from home, from my nearest Walmart, but I have to drive back home, grab a mask, and then go right back up there, even though I've just found a nice little parking place. It's like, you know, I get it. Not an end of the world situation, but it's like, come on. There's no way I'm not the only person that has just thrown themselves out of fury because they're just all like, oh, forgot the mask.
Oh, I feel you. So
luckily, Walmart's been kind enough to provide people with masks.
Yeah, like I kind of figured, because I know me, I'm a very forgetful person, so I knew that I would forget a mask at some point. So what I did was I have a mask, a reusable mask that's sitting in my car that I only have for those type of situations, and then my other car, I have a box of disposable masks for that situation.
Hey, whatever you can do, man. Whatever you can do.
Like, yeah, and like, I'll wear it. Like, don't get me wrong, I will wear a mask. I prefer not to. Like, for instance, we have to wear them at work, but like, there's only 3 of us at work, and I work in a school as a nighttime janitor.
Yeah,
so
nighttime though.
Yeah, so there's only 3 of us in a huge building. So all 3 of us, usually after the teachers and kids leave, we take off our masks. Like, we're working with a bunch of like we're having to sanitize everything, like top down, from top to bottom right now. So, like, our chances of getting it highly low from work, at least. Like, I barely see the other two guys I work with, and I'm barely ever within spitting distance of them. Like, the only time I'm even remotely close to them is when we're going to clock out at night.
I mean, it's basically the exact same way with me at my job. It's like, big warehouse, not a lot of guys. There's plenty of space for us to social distance from each other. And I hate wearing that mask because I wear, let me rephrase this. I used to wear safety glasses. And it was really necessary that I do because it's a steel factory, and that means that there's steel dust up in the air. We're not making the steel, but, there's steel and there's steel dust. And the truth is that those little microfibers in steel dust, they're sharp. They will tear. And it would be great to wear my safety glasses, but the problem is that I won't, because if I have that mask on, it fogs up. And if I have that, and then I gotta put my safety glasses lower to the tip of my nose, and I'm just all this does not work nearly as well as it's supposed to. And as it's one of those things where it's as soon as my boss and my supervisor leave the warehouse, it's mask off.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I wear glasses every day, and I have to get those certain masks that have the metal pinch on them. Otherwise, I just take off my glasses and I have a little bit of blurry vision wherever I'm going.
Yeah, but you're cleaning though. Your sight's important. My sight is important because I cut steel. I have to be able to I have to actually get on. I have to measure stuff out, draw a chalk line, and then cut that steel. Which, by the way, with sparks being flown around me, steel dust in the air, and again, I can stay far away from everybody if need be. So let me assure you, I'm not going to die of COVID. I'm going to die of black lung first. so let's put that out there. I will not die of COVID. Black lung will take my life.
But also at the same time, so as you know, I work a total of 4 jobs.
You got the cleaning for the school,
maid, a DoorDash driver.
That's right. How could I ever get those?
And then I drive for rideshare. I haven't drove once for rideshare since COVID broke out, just because apparently the rideshare companies, they require you to wear a mask while you're driving. I can't do that while I'm wearing my glasses. And I can't take off my glasses, because the one time I really need my glasses is when I'm driving, because I need to be able to read signs. I can't read signs if I don't have my glasses on. I can drive, but it's not as, safe.
Okay, this is the problem where you're gullible when you wear that mask in your car. Really, in the safety and in the environment of my own car, I have to wear that stupid mask. No, not really. Not gonna happen.
Well, see, it makes sense for rideshare because you are in close space with people at that point.
Okay, now, all right. Look, if there's people, all right, I can understand that.
But yeah,
I can understand. I thought you meant if it's just you. If you're on the clock and you're on your way to get the people, then you gotta wear a mask.
I do have to have it on by the time I pick it up. So if I park real quick, I have to throw it on before they get in my vehicle.
Okay, see here, I misinterpreted that. Totally did. I mean, that doesn't stop my viewpoint as far as because people do that. They absolutely do that. They wear their masks while they're in the car.
Why do they torture themselves like that?
I don't know, dude. I don't want to smell my own breath. I don't want to breathe in my own carbon dioxide day in and day out.
It's giving me such dry mouth. It really sucks. It really sucks. My wife, she suggests that I take some mints with me, or gum or candy, because it helps salivate your mouth or something like that. Mm-hmm. If you have something in there that you're kind of eating. So I probably will start doing that a little bit more.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. It's still technically summertime. I love summer, hate the hell out of winter, but when it's summertime and you got that mask on and in the warehouse, there's no AC. It's an incubator in the summer and a freezer in the winter. It's again, there's all that heat, all that sweat and everything else going on. I'm just all this is downright miserable. I hate this so much.
I'm the exact opposite of you, though. I'm not a big fan of the summer, really. I like being able to go. I like that there's more activities outside to do during the summer. That's about it. But I love the winter. Give me a snowy landscape. Like that's why me and my wife want to move to Alaska at some point in our lives, or at least go visit Alaska because we love the cold.
Just Green Day me, man. During
Like I keep the windows open when it's snowing outside. That's how much I love the cold.
Green Day me during all of winter and wake me up when it's over. Wake me up for Christmas and
Wake
New
you up
Year's.
when February ends.
February, yeah, okay. When it ends, yes. When it ends, because February is still. Oh, February's bad, so bad. Oh man.
So
Okay, yeah. All right, so you got some hot topics that you really wanted to talk about.
yeah, I do. Like I was doing some research for some topics for this first episode. The big one that came out. So I actually had like a bunch of topics. We'll probably push those off to next week's episode, but. The one kind of like took over everything, and I've kind of been munching your ear off with this one. Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, yeah.
So those of you who don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse was the 17-year-old who shot 3 people in Kenosha.
One of
riots.
them, I have to tell you, was a registered pedophile.
That is true. Apparently all 3 of them had some kind of rap sheets on them, and I cannot stand the media or just like everybody's like portrayal of this 17-year-old because I've watched multiple videos on it in full. I've watched lawyer analysis of the videos. I have watched so many videos on this. I've watched guns rights advocates talk about like the procedures he went through. He went through his self-defense. Like 100%, you cannot not claim it was self-defense if you watch it in its entirety.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, you'll see a lot of people, like especially the media and stuff like that, the mainstream media at least, they'll just show little snippets. They'll actually show just the shooting and not what happened prior to the shooting. But I don't even get how you can just show the shootings themselves because he was fucking on the ground with the guys right above him. One of them had a gun. It has been proven. One of the guys who was chasing him had a gun. One tried to beat him with a skateboard, and one was chasing him. This kid was already in Kenosha, apparently. He worked as a lifeguard, is what I'm hearing now, too. He worked as a lifeguard. He was a registered EMT, and he was there to like provide medical support to people and protesters.
He was also helping taking care of some of the graffiti around there, too.
That's what I saw, too. There's images of him like getting graffiti. He had his EMT pack and actually provided some medical support to protesters.
Yeah.
The first person he shot, like Colin Noir, you know who he is?
Colin Noir?
Yeah.
The first guy he shot. Was that the...
No. Colin Noir is a YouTuber.
Oh, okay. No.
He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer and a guns rights advocate. And for all you leftists out there, he is a person of color. He's black. So...
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
He did an analysis of this. Step by step. Because he's also a very big self-defense lawyer. He's like, yeah. So first thing that happened was... So the only part we are unaware of was with the first guy, what caused him to start chasing after Kyle.
Okay.
Because we see at first him being chased, Kyle being chased by him. But Kyle's first instinct was not to engage. He ran away.
Yep.
So right there, for those of you who don't know self-defense law, because he started running instead of pulling out his gun, because that is 100% self-defense because the guy chasing him becomes the aggressor in that situation. So he started running, but then he got backed into a corner and he shot. After he shot, he immediately called someone. We don't know who he called. We'll probably find out when the investigation continues on. But apparently a guy who was interviewing him before the shot happened actually was there and watched the whole thing and gave testimony. Yeah, he was chased. So he tries to call, and then some other protesters see him standing over this body of the first guy, calling. I can only assume it's the police or maybe his parents or something like that.
He did turn himself in eventually. For everything he did turn himself in.
Yeah. Well, so here's what happened after the first guy got shot, though. Other protesters saw him and immediately assumed he was out there just killing protesters and started chasing him down. And again, he starts running. He was on the phone. I would assume it's the police or his parents that he called. That would be my first assumption. It was either the police or his parents.
I'd go for the cops, personally.
Yeah, probably. We can't really hear. All you hear in the audio from the video is like, I just killed someone. What do I do? And then he starts running when he starts getting chased, because I think there was one like white guy, one of the protesters. I think it was one of the other guys who got shot in this situation. He was like, "Run inward, get that inward," which, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
So Kyle starts running again. This is when we get to another video. He's running from those two people from the group that was chasing him from the end of the first video, running down the street. He just keeps running. You see or hear another gunshot go off in the distance, and that's when he like pulls up his gun, and then he's still running, but then he trips and falls, and that's when two people get on him. And this is where a lot of people, especially like Second Amendment advocates, are really impressed. He went for 2 non-fatal shots, even in that stressful situation.
Yeah.
Because one guy starts and one guy like kicks him, one guy starts getting out his skateboard. Shoots one guy in the head, clean. Holds the gun at the other guy who's coming after him, and the guy starts backing off. And then he starts to raise his gun back away when the guy starts backing off. Then as soon as he sees that, the perpetrator, then runs at Kyle again. And I think this was the guy with the gun.
Probably, I think so.
And if you want to go watch the video yourself, I found it on BitChute. You won't find it on like YouTube, Facebook, or anything because they're getting rid of it because it is gratuitous violence. But also go watch the analysis by Colin Noir. It was great. Step-by-step playthrough of what happened. So he went and he shot the guy in the arm. I think it was the same arm he had the gun in.
You call that Schrodinger's armed. Because he is armed and unarmed at once.
At this point, the group kind of leaves him alone. He gets up and he walks away, and he tries to approach a police vehicle, but I think the police vehicle is too focused on getting the, dealing with the protesters down the way, so they kind of shoo him. Shoo him away, and then later on, I think the next day, he does turn himself into the police. Yeah. Hey, I shot these guys. So, yeah, that's what happened, from what I can tell. I might have mixed up some little events. Go watch the video for yourself. Yeah, and tell me what you guys think in the comments below. But yeah, it's crazy how much people are trying to vilify this kid. It's Nick Sandmann all over again.
This is what absolutely just infuriates me. So I had a buddy who told me, "Man, you've been on like a pedophile thing lately." And I was like, "Okay, we need to be like really clear about something. I have been on an anti-pedophile pill lately. You know, I'm all about exposing all these people who are behind these, this tragic, just evil death cult where it just involves the prostitution of children and just, the whole... I'm waiting for names to drop. I want to know who was on Epstein's Island. Like, seriously. You can't just go based off of a flight log, but based on the people who have been named off and what they're doing, it's like, that's a good enough reason to raise an eyebrow. But I'm sorry, but back to my main point is, what just pisses me off the most is how, people aren't focusing on the fact that a pedophile is dead. It's like, seriously, that would be the first thing that I would be praising this kid for, is rock on, taking a pedophile off the street. Take granted, he didn't know he was a pedophile at the time, but again, he's still within his right to defend himself. But no one's praising the kid for that. Here I am just saying, all right, this is what Second Amendment people want. This is what sane people want. We want more dead pedophiles. But instead, we're too focused on a kid with a gun shooting, quote-unquote, peaceful protesters and activists.
Keifer, I have to correct you on one little thing here, though.
Oh, no.
You gotta keep it PC, brah. They don't like being called pedophiles. They're maps.
What?
That's a thing. That is
map.
It is.
Other than one of Dora's friends, what is a map?
It's an acronym for minor attracted persons. I shit you not.
I want to take a gun to my head and put a pedophile right next to it.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like your dogs are going crazy upstairs.
Yeah.
But
anyway, it's like you get my point.
I get your point. I get your point.
You're more upset at a kid with a gun who shot the pedophile other than praising him for dead pedo. And anyone who I have seen just coming across, whether it's my Facebook in real life saying, oh yeah, he shouldn't have shot that guy, and when I bring up the fact that it was a pedophile that he shot, and they still try to denounce him, I call them pedo apologists. Right then and there. And let me tell you, they changed that tune of theirs real quick.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like, it's tragic that anybody had to die. Anybody. Like, I'd rather a pedophile be put in jail for the rest of his life than killed.
Nah, too many taxpayers' money.
We see that's the thing, too. I'm a big proponent of prison reform, where not really police reform, but prison reform, where I think that the only people who should be in prison are the people who are unfit for society.
Mm-hmm.
Like, limit it to rapists, murderers, and pedophiles, basically.
I can get that. I can get behind that. Except just the pedophile part. It's just that's such a horrible thing.
Hey, Keifer, the one people who are most likely to die in prison are pedophiles anyway, so let the prisoners take care of it, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
That is very true.
Isn't it funny how that always works? You've got these guys in there, they're just all like, I killed an entire family, or yeah, I killed a family and then I raped them. But I'll tell you what, when I did rape them, they were all above the age, and they definitely weren't minors as well. So, but it's just like, but okay, but the pedo thing, that's crossing your line though. It's like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna kill him when he gets in here. It's like I've always found that I found it funny, and in a sense, justice being done in its own very odd way.
I guess you could say that's like what, honor among thieves, or like a criminal's code of honor.
I guess so.
I mean, they say like the mafia, for instance, back in the day, they had their own. They followed their own rules. They had their own code they followed. Like big criminal gangs like that have always had they don't want to follow the society's rules per se, but they do have their own rules and their own codes of honor, which can be kind of commendable, I guess.
In a sense, it's like if you're going to be a big mob boss and you're going to run a crime family, then you have to have a solid foundation. So I don't want to get far off the Kyle point because I know you want us to be the quote unquote meat and potatoes.
This is the meat and potatoes of this conversation. This is Kyle Rittenhouse thing.
But the one thing I do want to point out, just for a little small gag, is that there was a comic where it was Captain America meets Batman and the Red Skull meets the Joker. And in this comic, Red Skull and Joker are raising hell, and Captain America and Batman team up to stop them. But it's the Joker who becomes the Red Skull's undoing once he finds out that he's a Nazi. So to kind of really put in place and really emphasize the code among thieves or honor code, whatever you want to call it, amongst just criminals in general, the Red Skull is just all like, yeah, I am a Nazi. What does that matter? You're a psychotic serial killer clown. He's like, and he just goes, I might be a psychotic serial killer clown, but I'm an American first. And then the comic blacks out. And next thing you know it, the Red Skull is just beaten to a bloody pulp and given to Captain America to take him back to his own universe.
I'm pretty sure that's one killing that probably Batman would be okay with.
Yeah.
Joker, you're not going to Arkham for this one. You did good. I am Christian Bale.
I am.
Have you seen the previews for the new Batman movie? I know it's a little tangent, but have you seen them?
I've seen it. You ain't selling me that easily.
I don't know.
I don't care. You're not selling me that easily.
I'm actually okay with Robert Pattinson. I wasn't okay with Robert Pattinson being picked for the new Batman role because I like Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. Because it's going to portray the more younger, more... I don't want to say fun Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne's always a serious person, but there have been portrayals of Bruce Wayne where he was a little bit of a party boy.
Well, yeah, they've done that so well in the animated series that as far as it's billionaire, playboy, philanthropist Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm open to it. I'm open to it.
The only thing I don't like about it is I can't stand the DC universe. I really can't. I know that I'm totally comparing apples to oranges when it comes to the DC universe and the MCU, but it's just so horribly put together. It's like, the way you saw how MCU put everything together. We got the origin for each person, and in their origin of the movie, we ended up getting a little background as to why they are the way they are, and then Endgame. Need I say more? But when it comes to the DC universe, it's like it's just so horribly put together. There's too many Batman movies. Dare I say it? There's too many Batmans. They're the only thing that's been good, and the only thing that I actually for sure will watch with enjoyment has been the Wonder Woman movies coming out.
See, okay, so you're gonna make fun of me here. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman.
It's really good.
I guess I keep hearing that, and me and Courtney want to go watch Wonder Woman, but like
You got to watch the first one before you see 1984.
Oh yeah, 100% sure. I did watch the Wonder Woman animated movies though, and they're pretty damn good.
They are that is really good. It really
I
is.
love DC and animation.
Yeah. Now the animations, you've got me there. They are so much better than the Marvel animations.
Oh god, yeah. Especially they did the Justice League Dark. Do you know what Justice League Dark is?
I think so, and if I have seen the correct ones, it's beautiful.
Oh god, they did that, and they also did a sequel to it called Justice League Dark Apocalypse. Holy, I am so surprised they made that.
Was it just like brutal
It
all
was
the way through and
freaking brutal.
graphic in every way?
Everybody dies.
Nice.
Like, the entire Justice League dies in that movie.
Excellent.
The only survivors are Superman, Constantine,
Of course, you can't kill.
Swamp Thing. No, okay, so here's the funny thing. He could have died. He was purposely left alive and made human.
Just to take away his power and make him useless, or
Darkseid. So it was Darkseid. I don't know if you know who Darkseid. He's basically
everyone knows who Dark.
Okay.
Well, okay, look,
Not
I may not be the biggest DC fan. Yes, I am a Marvel fanboy, but I do know my DC. I know Darkseid. Darkseid. Depending on how you truly want to pronounce it. I like Darkseid.
Well, so what happened was Darkseid injected Superman with kryptonite. Literally tattooed it into his skin. So he could go back to Earth and people could see that their greatest hero had fallen. And so he could watch as he destroys the one thing that Superman has been wanting to protect this whole time. So it was Constantine, Superman, Raven, but Raven super weakened. Damian Wayne. I always forget this guy's name. He's the demon who always speaks in like riddles.
I know who you're talking
Estrogen,
about.
I think his name is.
I totally forgot, but I do know who you're talking about. He's like a handsome man when he wants to be, and then he just boom, ugly ass demon.
Oh yeah, I think that's who it is. And then like Swamp Thing, the guy who's the Green. And then a handful of like the DC villains, like Lex Luthor's alive, Harley Quinn's alive, but like most of the villains are on the good side now. Oh, and Lois Lane. Lois Lane's still alive too.
I would call that more an alliance at that point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, look, we don't like each other, but we totally have a common enemy.
Oh yeah, well it takes place after like Darkseid basically destroys almost all the world. He like takes out a good chunk of the population, and how he wins is because there was some new information that he was not like properly like vetted, and also Darkseid still had a connection to Cyborg. So he knew all the Justice League's plans while they were making them.
Oh,
And he made a new super soldier a mass-produced super soldier of basically, what is that one from? It's the one that always like said killed Superman. Apocalypse or something? No, Apocalypse. I always forget its name. It's like an alien that like can't be killed, and it kills Superman. Superman and it kind of kill each other.
and it's not Apocalypse.
Not Apocalypse.
Is it like this super alien robot that can do literally almost
it's like
anything?
is Apocalypse the one that's like almost made of stone? It looks like.
Okay.
I always forget what his name is.
I don't think I know who that one is. Maybe that's DC I don't know about.
I'm going to probably after we're done recording here, I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
And I'm going to be like, motherfucker, how could I not remember that? Because like I've seen 3 movies with that same plot line. Well, anyway, mass-produced model of him that's Superman. That like they can take out Superman.
Okay. So.
Oh yeah, like you see so many things. Like Zatanna gets like ripped in half. I think Wonder Woman has an arm ripped off. In the final battle. It's god, it was bad. Like, and even then, and then like the Flash was forced to basically power all of Dark World or whatever, the Apocalypse World.
So he's basically just being tormented and tortured by being used as a human generator.
Yes, on like a hamster wheel. For like 2 years straight.
You know, as bad as that sounds like something he could do.
Oh, when he came out of it, he was like nothing but skin and bones.
Oh, wow.
And then Batman was brainwashed into being like Apocalypse's right-hand man. What a strategist.
What a perfect person for that, though.
Yeah, it was like he was like middle management. He ran all of Apocalypse for Darkseid at that point. And like he did it super efficiently.
Of course he would. He's Batman.
Yeah, he's Batman.
He's Batman. I'm not only super strong, I will not only break your finger in 37 different ways, but I am also really good at management. Have you seen my sock drawer?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
Eddie, I'm sorry. We
got off on a little bit of a
This
tangent
is fun. This is so much fun. We seriously went from Trump is not that evil to we first started off with
Chadwick
Boseman, may the Black Panther rest in peace, Wakanda forever. And then we moved into the political side of things, and now here we are talking about Kyle, and now here we are talking about superheroes. This is what I love about this. I've been listening to so many podcasts lately. I don't want to get into it too much because I do know there's a couple of things that you also want to talk about. So what?
I don't have a whole lot I want to talk about after, but like, what podcast are you listening to? I'm actually curious.
Okay, so I've been listening to a lot of Ben Shapiro, just mainly because of like how factual he is. So I don't know if we have enough time to really cover into the Jacob Blake sort of thing, but by listening to him, I've been kept up on just all the facts and details that have been going onto there. Which we are still continuing to wait for more facts and details to come out. I've just been keeping up with what's been going down at the RNC. I've been keeping up as far as what's been going on with like just certain parts of life, because I know that another hurricane is coming. As if 2020 wasn't bad enough, we got some double penetration hurricane coming in, so that's going to be great.
Double penetration. Really? You had to say double penetration.
I had to say it. What are those hurricanes called? Hurricane Laura?
Hurricane Laura, I think, is the one coming in right now.
And then there's like another one, isn't there? Or is she just coming in both sides?
Oh my! I don't know. I think it was another one. I can't remember the name of the other one. I just remember Hurricane Laura, and I think Laura was the bigger one of the two.
Yeah. So, God, and then who else? I got a coworker who is just dead set on Dan Bongino. I think you'd like him. He's like
sounds familiar.
He's ex-Secret Service. And he's very enthusiastic. Kind of does the same thing as Ben, but still pretty cool. And then for my comedy, I've been listening to Joey Coco Diaz. I love that dude. He is insanely funny. I get such a laugh listening to him because he's basically like this ex-mobster who turned to comedy. Just has this insane drug life. Talks about how he's flipped it around. The only thing he does is marijuana and a couple of party pills here and there. Which when he talks about it, it is hysterical. I want to meet this man. I seriously do. You will know who Joey Coco Diaz is when you watch the second Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. And he's on the train. He has just stopped the train. He's badly injured. The people bring him up, and as soon as Doc Ock rips opens a train and comes in, Joey Coco Diaz is the first guy on the line who comes in and says, "You want to get them? You got to go through me first." That's who he is.
Oh wow! I gotta go rewatch that now. I remember like as soon as you said the train scene, I'm like, it's that guy, isn't it? That guy who first stood up though. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow,
that's him. Another funny thing that I am gonna be using from now on. He's also being put in a small Disney show right now, which of course he is playing as a con artist / mobster. to sell this item called Skull Slimmers. What the? It's great. And as this person is looking for him, he's just like, "Excuse me, are you this?" I forget his character's name. His response is, "Might be, might beesn't." I'm gonna use that.
Oh god.
Forever.
Oh god. So
I know. Those are the podcasts that I've been listening to lately. I don't know what's up. I'm not. It's not that I'm sick and tired of music. It's just I want something a little bit different. And
Yeah.
I've been enjoying podcasts to and fro to work, and it's just I don't know. It's made the quality of my drives just a little bit better.
do you, so I know you're probably not familiar with a whole lot of YouTubers, but have you ever heard of Isaac Butterfield?
It's one that did.
I feel like you would like this guy. He's a
yeah?
comedian, but he also does like just commentary on stuff. He's from Australia, and he's got that dry Australian like weight to him.
Love an Australian accent. Nothing.
And his
Nothing gets my koalas raggled.
like. I'll put it to you this way:
like an Australian
he
accent.
he's done a couple videos where he goes off on vegan gains.
I know who you're talking about. That guy.
He has the really long
The
beard.
really long beard that was basically just going off on that.
He goes off on so many people.
Yeah, I don't want to.
He does not give a
I do
shit.
not want to cuss too much on here, but it's that one word that Australians love using, and I love them for using that word.
Oh god. I love his little outro at the end every time. He's like, "Peace in the Middle East and my dick stink." Have a good day, motherfuckers, or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I will totally. Is it just YouTube, or does he have a podcast?
I think he only does YouTube right now.
Okay, that's fine.
But
I'll look that
like
up,
I listen to YouTube videos on my way to work all the time. I'll listen to like mainly audio ones. I've also been doing a lot of history podcasts. I've been loving studying them up on history, especially Roman history. I don't think I would like these people like in real life. Like if I ever met these YouTubers in real life, because they seem like raging like lefty type people. Like he made a video after Trump got elected and like crying basically almost. One of the people who do this channel. Overly sarcastic productions. I love their videos on history and mythology. Take what they say with a little bit of grain of salt though, because especially with Blue, because there's two characters on the show. It's Blue and Red. Red does all the mythological stuff, and and then she also does the like classic summarize where she'll like go over Shakespeare and stuff like that, and they're all great videos. Like they put a lot of production into their videos, but Blue, he's very pretentious. I like his videos because he does come off very witty too. He's witty yet pretentious, and you can tell he kind of, just a little bit, it seems like he does kind of put his own perspective into how he views history. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't do a lot of YouTube lately. I used to do it a lot, like looking up videos left and right, but now I just don't do it near as much because I've just heard all of all. It's not. They're not even conspiracy theories against it. They're just cold. It's just cold hard evidence that if you want to make it on YouTube, then you have to talk about certain specific things, specifically ones that don't hurt people's feelings or trigger them. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to watch. I don't want to really associate on my phone with an app that does that. Also, YouTube was literally taking down accounts and people, or they were taking down videos and accounts of people that were criticizing China. I'm like,
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, but did you hear about Steven Crowder?
Oh no.
He got remonetized.
Did he really?
Yeah, he got, apparently it was only like a 1-year thing. So he's fully remonetized now. The only requirements they put on him is he couldn't sell the shirt. Oh, and here's the funniest part too. I saw a video of him calling once he got remonetized, I think it was Vox or Vice, put out I think it was one of the two, I think. It might have been a different one, but I think it was one of the two. Put out an article about him getting remonetized and put a lot of like false information to there. Basically saying that his shirt was calling Carlos Maza a F word. Which we both know that's not what it was. Not
the worldly F word, but the LGBTQ F word.
Yeah.
Okay.
The word that has changed many meanings throughout history. used to be, a stick gatherer or an old person.
I think that was a wet. I think that's a wet cigarette.
Yeah, that too.
But even so, but my main point is I just don't do that much YouTube lately because it's like, I don't. That's like we said in the very beginning. I don't care if your views are more right wing. I don't care if your views are more left wing. That doesn't bother me. It's how you're gonna present yourself and your side and your views to me. That's gonna be everything else. I dated a girl for a hot second where, her views were mostly leftist and, and I can respect that. I really can. But, they were views enough to where it's like, I can't see us really forming a relationship. I'm sorry. There were bigger key things involved, but it's like I can still be friends with her. I can totally be friends with her. She I don't think I ever made it clear that my views are more right winged, but actually no. I did tell her. I did totally tell her. I told her that, and you know what? Yeah, we're still friends amongst it all.
I used to always refer to myself, I like to refer to myself as what's called a South Park Republican. South Park. That's actually a term that was early cool. Basically, it means that economically and governmentally, you are right wing, where you're more of a government minimalist, but where socially with social programs, or just like in the social sphere, you're more left leaning. Like, I'm pro-LGBT and stuff like that. I just don't want, I feel like everybody should have the rights and nobody's rights should be infringed upon.
Right.
And
that's the whole that's the whole American way of part of life.
Yeah, that's all I'm about. So, yeah. I think we should. There's one more topic I want to talk about real quick.
What's up?
So, probably got about 10 minutes here. So, the RNC.
That might be more your swing at this point. The only thing I have seen so far is, what was it? It's all I know is that the DNC was really cringy and Nick Sandman.
So, I watched. I cried a little bit during the RNC, the last night of the RNC. I'll tell you why in a minute, but I watched. I didn't watch directly the RNC. I watched Louder Crowder's live streams of both. But then I would go back and watch certain bits of it to get more details, and watch news reporting on it. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, dude, the RNC was that was a fine wine. Where freaking the DNC was barely a beer, not even a good beer. That was Pabst. It was basically one big Zoom call.
All right. They actually found the same people on multiple screens when Kamala Harris was talking. It's so imagine it's you and me, but they take several of yous and fill up a couple of spots in those screens.
Oh, of course, yeah. That of course they would do that.
I'm just whereas, you don't have enough fans to do that?
Come on. Well, no, they don't. Freaking. Apparently, during the Republican National Convention, during there was 9 minutes straight of C-SPAN getting calls from Democrats saying we're switching to the Republican side. There was 9 minutes straight of this. The Republican National Convention had a lot more online views. Apparently it completely dwarfed the DNC. But the DNC's well, we had more cable views technically over the weekend. Okay, we're in the internet age. Who cares?
Yeah, we are. We truly are. Because I told you I'm still apartment hunting and everything like that. Yeah. I don't find myself in a position where I'm going to need cable at all in my life, just streaming.
Apparently, some places will offer you free cable. I know the first apartment me and Courtney got together, they give us free cable. That's the only time we've ever had cable.
Because it's just becoming useless now.
I mean, we had DirecTV for a little bit because we got... So this is the funny thing. They had to basically bribe us $300 to convince us to get cable. Because at Costco, we were at Costco one night. And basically, if we did a month of DirecTV, you got a $300 Costco gift card.
How much extra did that cost, though?
The DirecTV?
Yeah.
It was $50.
So basically, you guys were just giving... free $250.
Yeah, and we quit. We basically, after that first month, we watched it a little bit.
And they're like, nope.
Yeah, give me my Chromecast, man. I watch nothing but YouTube. Like, I watch YouTube and anime. That's, like, all I ever watch anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know you're kind of running short up on time, but we really probably should get into some anime stuff. Probably next week, hopefully, because
Oh, yeah. Like,
there's a lot. There's so much going on.
I would love to do just an anime podcast on my other channel. But, like, I would want more people for that, probably.
Yeah.
If we can do... Hey, we can probably get a couple people from the church group on that one.
They are here. They are here. Jesus in anime. Don't mess with me. I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Okay, back to what I was talking about just earlier with the NC, because we keep getting on tangents here.
I know. But
did you notice that Trump's speech was like 3 times longer than Joe Biden's?
I didn't. Like I said, I told you earlier before we went on this, is that I haven't watched too much of it. Mainly clips from
Afterwards.
It's mainly been clips on Instagram, just because where I work, I get horrible reception, and because I work 2 jobs, so I can't really just be on my phone too often at a time. And by the time I'm done with my work day,
welcome to my world for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I know. It's a fun job, but
I get into I'll talk about this in a minute, but I get into arguments with people on Reddit all the time who think, and I tell them I work 4 jobs, and they're like, well, you should be supporting socialism then because the system has failed you. I'm like, no. I'm not a little whiny bitch who blames everybody else for my problems. I could quit. I've saved up enough money and got myself into a good enough position right now to where I could quit 3 out of 4 of the jobs, actually, if I really wanted to, and probably live just fine. But I'm trying to save up for a house.
But you're making good bank right now from all that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm pulling in probably... I think last year I pulled in almost $40-something thousand.
Shit, man.
Between the 4 jobs.
That's electrician work right there.
Yeah, I was working 6 days a week.
It works. I get it. It does suck. It does take a little bit longer compared to what others get. But you did it.
Oh yeah, I did it. I there were some days I worked from 8 a.m. to one day, and I didn't get home until 6 a.m. the next day. There was a couple days like that.
Oh, I bet.
And it was all willpower that I did it. I didn't have to. Especially with the ride share and food delivery, I didn't have to do all that work. Mm-hmm. I wanted to. I wanted to get that money.
No, I get it. It's more, as a bodybuilder, sleep is one of the most important parts of my life that I fail at, but again, I'm still just continuously trying to work on. But that's a big one for me, man. I have so much respect for people that go through that, because it's man, I could not do it because I scientifically wouldn't allow myself to do it. Yeah.
I think what brought this on was I was on Reddit and I got to his argument with a guy who was bitching about people not wearing their masks. He's like, I work for 8 hours a day to make these and you should wear them. And I'm like, bro, you only work 8 hours a day? 5 days a week? Really? Try working 7 days a week and not working from 8 a.m. to 11 every day. He's like, oh, nice brag, bro. He's like, oh, that's what you work? You should be supporting socialism then. I'm like, why would I support socialism? I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to share it with everybody else.
Right.
I want money for myself and for my family. I want to be a billionaire at some point. I want to be a millionaire and billionaire at some point.
What you gotta do? I have the foggiest idea.
Well, work hard for one thing.
True.
I'm making double. Last year, I made double what I made the year before.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, and I'm renting out 3 of my rooms, my bedrooms at my current house.
I'm not gonna lie. The whole second job, it's helped me.
Oh yeah,
quite exponentially. It's because each job I both get paid bi-weekly, but they all overlap the weeks. So it's every single Friday I get paycheck, and I'm just like, yay.
So it's actually really funny. So I know I started working 4 jobs, but right now I'm technically working 2 because of COVID. I'm doing DoorDash, I'm doing the food delivery every once in a while right now.
No, I get it.
But I'm still working 6 days a week. So basically, one job, my main job, which is the school janitor job, pays me bi-weekly, and that's where I make my biggest paychecks.
Right.
Because it's consistent. The maid service, I just do extra stuff at nights and on weekends. Okay. But I would do stuff every weekend.
Right.
Maid service pays every week. The janitor pays every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's like 1 week I'm just getting a check from just the maid service. And, it's not that big of a check, but it's something to sustain me. And then next week, it's like I'm getting my regular paycheck plus a bonus. Like, almost $300.
Nice.
So, yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah, crazy. Capitalism. Good.
Yeah.
Do the work. Get more money. Work. Be happier. Have more thing in life.
What was that John Rowe said? That, don't do what you don't love. Do what you're good at.
Yeah, to this day, I don't know. Maybe remember when my personal training business just kind of failed and I just went through that giant slump in my life?
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, so it's to this day, I haven't really had much of a dream. But there is one thing I still slightly cling to, and it's voice acting. In the hopes to just I don't know what it is a matter of willpower. I need to go out and do whatever it is voice actor wannabes or triers do. But that is an idea.
My cousin wants to do that.
Does he?
She does, and she wants to be a voice actress for anime.
Nothing would make me happier than to be a voice actor.
Like,
for anime.
I hate the voice acting community right now, but
I
we
know.
need more people like you. I can tell you right now, you being on this podcast, good luck.
I know.
Oh,
I knew I was gonna probably make a couple enemies.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna make a few enemies with this podcast.
That's
but
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, who knows? Maybe things will
Everything is
finally
fine.
calm down here soon.
What's that?
I feel like I think we're about to hit the peak of this like social war that's going on right now. The culture war is what it's called.
Yeah.
I think we're about to hit the peak of it.
You think
and
so?
we might hit a little bit. Like, I hear people say that we might hit a civil war. An ideological civil war, but I think it's going to be more like a civil Cold War.
No, I get it. One of the biggest weapons that they have on them right now is just cancel culture, which is cancer culture at this point.
The funny thing is, most people hate cancel culture.
They say that until they enact it on other people, just because they don't like the way they think or from actions that they've done that aren't even that severe.
What?
But because they just find it that sometimes they'll be like, that was so distasteful. Someone call that guy's job and get him fired.
Well, see, no, not even like that. Like, I mean, like the every person, like the average person.
Oh, okay.
Most average people don't really give a shit, and that's what these like elitist people in these like coastal areas don't really get is the majority of of everyday people don't really care. Oh, James Gunn did a tweet like 10 years ago of a bad joke. So?
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what about what they did to Kevin Hart? That was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
So
freaking.
wrong.
Oh, my God. Like, I can't. Oh, God. I can't talk about cancel culture. It's just so goddamn stupid. And the funny thing is, too, the worst thing you can do is when you're being canceled is acknowledge it. That's what I've noticed. Like, if you ignore it or if you make fun of it, you probably won't get canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Like, people have tried to cancel Steven Crowder, like, multiple times now.
And he's done nothing but make a comedy skit out of it.
Oh, yeah. Like, multiple comedy skits.
And what's happened from it? More people have gotten on.
Oh, yeah. He's one of, like, the top right-wing, like, internet personalities. Like, he's, like, just under Ben Shapiro, from what I heard.
I believe that. I totally can. What is it? What about one of the better things I can use for an example is when Dave Chappelle came out with that special, Sticks and Stones, Vice, of all news sources, they hated it. They were just all like, yeah, this is one that you guys better skip. Dave's really turned he's turned a new leaf and a bad one. He's making fun of the LGBTQs and he's just this and that. So this is one to skip, folks. When I heard Vice say that, first off, when anyone tries to tell me what to do, it doesn't end well. So when I saw that, I was like, I have to watch this. And of course, to the truth, I knew I would find it was hysterical. It's just, you guys tried canceling people over jokes? It's like, how'd that work out for you? Because that ended up being one of I don't know how much money Dave must have made. I hope he made a lot of money.
Oh, I bet he did.
Because it was so funny. That's going under as one of his best.
Well, I mean, although Netflix has been, like, kind of accused of pedophilia lately, so we can't really know what their values are. So we don't know what they.
That is something we definitely.
I don't know if we can. I think we can probably get almost a whole episode just out of that.
Oh my god!
I think I want to do an episode based on children next week. Actually,
okay. Hey, revealing the evil behind that, people. Okay, just so we can get that out there. Just so we can get that out there.
But basically, also I wanted to kind of talk about the indoctrination of schools. School system. Especially because your mom's a teacher. And I'd love to know what she says about it, too, about that kind of stuff.
Just with everything going on as far as, like, their teaching curriculum or just how they're handling COVID?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, well, she's an elementary school teacher, so there's not much that she's implementing.
I work at elementary school, too, and you know what? I've seen, like, classrooms trying to teach their kids, like, how to be activists, how to protest, and, like... all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why are we teaching 9-year-olds how to be protesters and activists?
Well, I can
see high schoolers, but
I can promise you this: my mother is someone that doesn't do that. Yeah. She prefers to first of all make sure your kids know their ABCs and know how to read. But also on top of that, my mother focuses on the form of just teaching these children how to be
good people.
How to be good people in the later life. My mom wants, one of my mom's new dream goals is for her students to come back as high school students and just say, hi, I was one of your students, and I just want to let you know that the impact that I had here and the love you showed me here helped to really form me who I am today, which is a good person. That's a new dream of hers.
I did that when I graduated. Oh, yeah? I actually went back and went and saw most of my teachers.
Oh, yeah?
The day I graduated, I actually drove around, the entire district. Because, my teachers apparently had, been moved to different schools, so I went and tracked them down.
Wow.
Found out one of them died.
Wow.
I did not know. Do you remember Miss Justman?
Which school district are we talking about? I know.
Oh, yeah, you didn't do elementary school here, did you?
No, I only did, the last year of middle school. I was in St. Peter's at that time.
Okay. So, yeah, she was a third grade elementary school teacher. I found out that she died of cancer. That's very sad. Yeah. Well, besides Trump's speech, Trump did that really long speech, and it was glorious. I felt pumped by the end of it. It was very well done. There was a point where you could tell halfway through the speech where the teleprompter broke. It fuzzed out and he had to pause for a second, but he continued on, and then you could tell when it went back on and just jumped back onto the teleprompter. It was really well done. They had the wife of David Dorn at the RNC.
Which one was David Dorn again?
The St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, they had his wife.
Oh,
I cried during her speech.
Oh, jeez.
It was gut wrenching. Yeah. Apparently, he was doing private security for that guy. Just as a friend. But, apparently, he'd been doing it for a long time, too. He was, his only security guard. And he did it part-time. Basically, anytime there was a alarm that went off there, he would go there, in the middle of the night and, wake up his wife, hey, I gotta go to Lee's. And,
That's a good friend right there, man.
Yeah, he was a good friend. It was so sad that he died. And, nobody covered it. That was the worst part. Nobody covered the African-American police officers getting shot in these riots.
Of course they won't cover it because it totally defeats the narrative.
I think it was back in July. There would have been a reported 14 cops killed. And, 7 of them were people of color. And, where is the freaking hate, or not the hate, but the
outrage.
The outrage over these people. Where is the outrage for these African-American individuals? Why don't these Black Lives Matter to you guys?
Again, I can't help but feel like that would be an entirety of its own thing, on another podcast. Because I know you don't want to keep this too much longer. But I will definitely wrap it, I don't know, maybe I can't wrap it up with just one single little saying. Other than this, narrative. If it goes against it, they won't play it.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. Well, I think that will wrap it up for this podcast, though.
Yeah, I hope you don't. I'm not trying to force it or anything. No. I just know you wanted to try to keep it to a limited time. That's all.
Oh yeah, I know. I see. We're holy thank you. Hour and 15 minutes. Holy thank you.
You said 40 minutes to an hour.
Well, I guess that just proves how much we can talk about subjects.
Oh, dude, I could babble.
Oh yeah, we could ramble on all day about this shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and that was the Meat and Potatoes. Have a great day.